The desert didn't care about you, it didn't care about anyone. The wind just kept blowing, dragging heat that cracked rocks and scorched skin. Only the toughest survived out here, and nobody made it by being kind. That was the rule, really the only one that mattered. As far back as anyone remembered, Orexia lived by a single truth: fall behind, get left. If you can't fight, you don't eat. If your body gives out, the desert finishes you off. That's how the clan kept going, while other families faded into sand and memory. Matriarch Kessa stood on the highest ridge, her shadow long and sharp across a stone baked hard by the sun. Her fur was thick, marked with scars. Her muscles showed every year of struggle. She'd killed predators that could squash a ground vehicle, buried her own kin when the rules called for it. Around here, mercy was weakness, and weakness got you killed. That's just how the Rexia did things. And with Kessa leading, the clan had never been stronger, which is exactly why the human didn't fit in. Dr. Emily Thorne was small, delicate, soft in all the ways that mattered out here. No claws, no fangs, no armor. She moved slower than the warriors and tired out before the cubs. By Rexia logic, she shouldn't have lasted a single day. But there she was, walking around the den like she belonged. She touched the wounded, spoke without fear, acted like the old rules were just stories for someone else. The trouble started the moment she walked into the forbidden den. That place was sacred. Warriors too broken to hunt went there to die with dignity. Elders with failing legs lay down so they wouldn't slow everyone else. Cubs born wrong got a last drink before returning to the sand. Nobody ever went in there to save lives. You only went in to end them cleanly. Emily went in to heal. Kessa felt the insult deep in her bones. The human wasn't just ignoring the rules, she was flipping them inside out. She knelt by a warrior who should have already taken the mercy blade. He was missing a limb, never going to fight the same way again. Every Rexia law said he was already gone. But Emily cleaned his wounds, talked to him softly, and then said words that had never been spoken in that place. He can live. That's when the challenge became impossible to avoid. Kessa didn't shout, she just laid it out. Resources are thin. Weakness spreads. Mercy leads to extinction. Every rule was written in blood, paid for by ancestors who learned the hard way. Changing them wasn't compassion, it was asking to die. Emily didn't argue about the past or pretend the dangers weren't real. She just said survival didn't always have to look the same. Strengths could return, bodies could heal. Even if they changed, tools could replace what was lost. To Kessa it sounded like madness. The forbidden den wasn't a hospital. It was a line you didn't cross, and Emily was standing on the wrong side of it. Kessa spelled it out. If the warrior survived and proved he could still help the clan, the human stayed. If he died, or even if he just survived his dead weight, Emily was out. No protection. No second chances. Out into the desert, where she wouldn't last a day. The test wasn't a choice. Tradition demanded it. The clan demanded it. Kessa knew how it would end. Rules like these weren't made to be broken. They were the only reason anyone was still alive, or so the Rexia believed. The next days crawled by, quiet but sharp with tension. Everyone watched Emily. Some figured she'd fail right away. Others expected the wounded warrior to beg for the blade before nightfall. The desert had taught them not to hope. Hope gets you killed. Emily didn't rush. She worked slow, steady, like patience could wear down the sun itself. She cleaned wounds everyone else had given up on. She used tools the Rexia had never seen: teeny lights, burning liquids, bandages that flexed instead of snapping. She spoke to the wounded like he was still a fighter, not a problem, not a burden, just someone who needed time. Kessa watched from a distance. She didn't interfere. This was Emily's test. Everybody would see it through. Every breath the warrior took, someone counted. Every night he survived, something old and silent shifted inside the den. Warriors whispered. Elders argued. Cubs stared, wide-eyed, seeing a future they'd never imagined. When the human talked about rebuilding the lost limb, the whole clan just laughed. Warriors were born whole, while they weren't warriors at all. Metal couldn't replace flesh. Tools couldn't replace instinct. But Emily didn't laugh with them. She just got to work. She measured, shaped, adjusted. She failed, fixed her mistakes, and tried again. Every setback, she met with this steady calm, never anger. Then came the day under a scorching sun, when it was time to see if her work meant anything. The warrior stood at the edge of the training ground, balancing on his own. The new limb Emily built moved with him, not against him. It didn't just copy his old leg, it was better. Each step landed exactly where he wanted. Every movement, sharp and sure. He ran, and the sand didn't slow him. He jumped, and the earth seemed to push back. The whole clan fell silent. He finished trials meant for only the best of them, not because Emily made him something unnatural, but because she gave him a way to show the strength of discipline, the will that had always been there. Kessa felt something shift deep inside herself. The law had said he was finished. Desert agreed. Yet here he was. That should have been a fluke, a story to bury. But then, A small voice broke the silence. A cub stepped forward. She was thin, slow, her back curved in a way that marked her for the forbidden den. She didn't look at the matriarch, she licked animally. Can you fix me too? That question hit harder than any blade. This was the moment Kessa had feared and hadn't even realized. Not a warrior challenging tradition. Not a human breaking rules. A child asking why those rules existed in the first place. Emily didn't promise strength or greatness. She promised effort, time, care, chance. Kessa could have ended it right there. One word, and everything would snap back into place. The desert would take the human, the cub would vanish into the red den. The clan would keep going as it always had. But Kessa hesitated. In that pause, everything shifted. She didn't answer right away. The cub's question just hung there, heavy and dangerous. Warriors shuffled, elders looked down. Everyone knew what tradition demanded. The cub was weak, her body was wrong. She'd never outrun a predator or win a fight. The old laws had already chosen her fate, but Kessa had just watched a law break. She really looked at Emily then. The human was exhausted. Her hand shook, her clothes were stained with blood, oil, dust. She didn't look powerful or rebellious, just stubborn, someone who refused to give up, no matter what the world told her. Examine her, Kessa said finally. A wave of shock went through the crowd. Tax tensed up, claws half out. Matriarch, he warned. This cub is marked. If you allow this, I decide what marks my clan. Kessa cut him off, her voice sharp as stone. Emily knelt in front of the cub, moving with slow care. Like, every gesture mattered. She asked simple questions. Watched how the cub stood, how she shifted her weight, how her legs trembled when she tried to move faster. Her fingers traced the curved sponge and tail, never forcing, never hurting. When she finished, Emily spoke plainly. She didn't sugarcoat anything. The cub would never be fast or strong the way the Rexia valued. But her body could get more support. Her pain could ease. Her balance would improve. With work and patience, she could walk farther, think clearer, last longer. She can live, Emily said, and she can contribute. That word, contribute, spread through the den like wildfire. The elders whispered. The warriors scoffed. Contribution without combat sounded like weakness in disguise. But Emily didn't stop there. She started showing what contributor could really mean. A warrior with damaged nerves learned to fight with precision instead of brute force. His attacks sped up, his reflexes sharpened. An elder who couldn't walk anymore got a support frame and returned to the council. A memory of old battles kept young patrols out of ambush more than once. A cub with weak lungs learned to breathe with a device and grew into a scout who could slip across dunes without leaving a trace. Every success made it harder to cling to the old ways. The clan started to change quietly, bit by bit. The forbidden den saw fewer visits. Tools appeared next to blades. Questions replaced silence. Strength stopped, meaning just survival of the body. Now, it meant survival of the whole pack. Kessa watched it all without interference. This was no longer about one human. It was about whether the Rexia was strong enough to evolve. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sands red again, Kessa stood beside Emily on the ridge overlooking the training grounds. Below them, the warrior with the mechanical, limb-trained younglings. The elder spoke tactics to a gathered circle. So the cub with the curved spine tracked Prince. Others missed entirely. You have changed much, Kessa said slowly. Emily nodded. So have you. Kessa did not deny it. For the first time in her life, the matriarch understood something the desert had never taught her. Strength was not lost by carrying others. It was multiplied, and the old laws, written in blood, were not being erased. They were being rewritten. Change never sneaks in quietly. People pushed back. Some in the clan grumbled, saying the Rexia were getting soft. Others spat rumors about the human's medicine, calling it a trick that might help in peacetime, but would fail when things got real. They waited for proof, for the desert to show everyone they were right. The desert answered just before dawn. A warning shout ripped through the eastern dunes. Sand beasts had shifted course, shoving hungry predators closer than ever. Patrols were scattered, nobody could see far, and the ground rippled under every step. This was the moment the old laws were made for. Only speed and strength would matter. Only the fastest and toughest would last. Kessa didn't hesitate. She snapped out orders and warriors rushed into position. But something felt different this time. The human didn't back down. Neither did those she'd helped. The scout with weak lungs actually spotted the danger first. He picked up on patterns no one else caught. Teeny shifts in the dunes that showed where the beasts were headed. He signaled early, giving the clan precious seconds. The elder with the support frame pulled everyone together, her memory of the land sharper than any map, predicting where the predators would break through. The fighter who'd nearly lost his life before he charged out front, his mechanical limb pounding the sand, holding ground that would have been lost, but Sharp kept her focus when panic hit. She tracked down every scattered cub, following trails only she could see. She brought them all back. When the dust settled, their home still stood. Some were hurt. No one died. Silence hung in the air, not heavy with grief, but buzzing with realization. People looked around and saw who saved them. Not just the strongest or not just the fastest, all of them. That night, Kessa called the clan together. Firelight danced across fur, stone, and metal. She stood tall in the center, but her voice felt different. For generations, she began. We thought strength meant standing alone. We called weakness a disease. We thought mercy would kill us. She turned, resting a heavy claw on Emily's shoulder. We were wrong. A low murmur moved through the crowd, not fear, not anger, just understanding. This human didn't weaken us, Kessa said. She showed us what we were wasting: our minds, our skills, our lives. The desert didn't beat us today. We adapted, together. She raised her voice, so everyone heard. From now on, Narration gets cast out for being different. Strength is what we protect, not just what we destroy. She looked right at Emily. You told us humans leave no one behind. Emily met her. AIs, we try. Kessa nodded, slow and sure. Then Narration now. Your pack, your medicine is ours. Your way walks with ours. Warriors stepped forward first, then elders, then cubs. Each one pressed a hand, a paw, or a claw to the stone at Kessa's feet, not to surrender, to accept. Shira came last, standing a little taller now, stronger in her own way. When I grow up, she said, voice steady, I want to heal. Like you. Emily knelt, tired but proud, and smiled at her. Then I'll teach you. The pack roared together, their voices rolling out over the red sands. In that roar, Kessa finally knew the truth. The desert never taught her the strongest pack isn't the one that stands alone, it's the one that survives.